Thank you for joining us once more. So today we have a special guest. This is Chuck, and we are going to talk about chakras. But first, I want to introduce you. Chuck, hi. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, I'm glad to be here, even though we can make a trial out of it. I'm enjoying it anyway. It's all a learning curve for me, and that's what a lot of this is about, is learning.
And it's true. And obviously for our audience that doesn't know, we've had a lot of technical issues trying to connect just today, but that happens in life, right? It happens. We have issues and it's just finding a way around it. So again, thank you for being here. I know it was kind of pressing buttons here and there. So we're going to talk chakras with you today. And I connected with you a few weeks ago. Tell us the story of how you got into the world of spirituality that kind of led you into being able to talk with chakras about me today.
Okay, there was how I got into the spiritual world was I was in some 12-step recovery programs for 20 years. And there was a point in my life when my first wife died that, I was fine with where I was there. But after that 20 years and my wife passing, I was at a spot that I knew that I needed more. And so I went to, as per the 12-step recovery programs give, I went to a clinical psychologist.
Okay.
And that clinical psychologist was somebody that later I become called my spiritual advisor. And this lady turned me on again to the learning, and she turned me on, more importantly, to the healing.
Mm-hmm.
And I really love the healing. And but she gave me also lots of teachers. She instilled on me by example to continually to study and learn. For an example, she got her doctorates at the age of 70.
Beautiful.
And that was it was totally awesome. It was a lesson I didn't forget. And she thought that I could grow among a lot of things. And she helped eliminate some of the negativity in my life. But I didn't know exactly how important that was. And she first started me off with Emmett Fox, so I learned more a little bit about the basic religion that I never had a background in.
Okay.
And we just kept going on from there. And she was undoubtedly, even though she was a little bird-like lady, she was the strongest individual that I ever met in my life, with her mind and with her physically. It was just things that she could do.
Mm-hmm.
And that I've seen others do since, but I couldn't even move the little lady at certain aspects if I was anywhere close to negativity. But in that time, I was spending a lot of time. I spent most 50 years in Alaska. And during this time in Alaska, I was always dealing with rock one way or another. So I think a lot of this become inevitable that I got down to several different points in the rock. I did geotechnical work, I did oil field work, island design, and then later on where a lot of the teaching and the healing that I started getting into was remote sites in Alaska, and then later on it was in the environmental, but all the time it was more or less rock. But my job was to move rock, find rock,
Mm-hmm.
whatever else. And then I got married again to somebody I'd known for all my adult life. And we left, I retired at the age of 72. and we came to Arizona and fell in love with rocks all over again. We went to a lapidary course at the junior college, and we both loved it. And so we started realizing the beauty of some of this that could be made out of that. And with beauty is lots of love. A lot of times, lots of love, lots of healing can be done. And so we got into some cutting and polishing and whatever. And to get into the chakra parts, to narrow it down to the chakra, was we opened a store. And this store was basically home decor, what we sold out of there. My wife had 30 years of experience doing that. Her husband had died a few years before, and they had a lot of stock. So I brought a lot of that. We sold that stock out of there. But what it was really about was the healing that we could end up doing. Is in Arizona, it's supposed to be the temperate climate. So you can, a lot of people came there for their health. Okay. But a lot of people didn't even begin to know how to work with their health. And my spiritual advisor had taught me that, and some of the teachers she turned me on to taught me that. But what we would do is, if some people you could tell before they ever stepped a foot in the door that they were very hurting people. And if we could turn around, the store was never about money. Fact is, we very seldom made any profit on a monthly basis for money. And now I got a little friend here, a little black fly that's sitting on my glasses too. But if we could, these people had come limping in and just not happy campers about anything, if we could send them out of that store with a little smile on their face, an uplift any better than they had, then that was what we were really there for. And we enjoyed that. And we had some other very interesting people. We had other rock people that cut and polished rock. But nobody really got into it that we were. There was an intuitive that rented a spot right next to us. She also did reflexology, just different types of healing. And you yourself are, and your partner are into intuitive type things. And it was it was fun. It was real fun. I had a lot of fun doing that. And then along come the COVID-19, and that changed the whole world. That brought so much fear into the world that it was just unimaginable around here, where old people, and the key term of that was pre-existing conditions. Right. These people just got so scared that they didn't even want to talk about what their ailments were. Right. After COVID settling down. They didn't even want to talk about it. So I had to learn a new way of how to enter conversations with these people. And so I started getting in to the chakras some, because this is 7 energy zones of the body. And one of the things that didn't come through on the email yet, I don't know if you can get it here, whether you can see a whole picture or not.
If you raise it a little bit, we can see a little bit more.
There.
Okay.
But this is a chart, and we'll try to get it out and with you a little bit more. But the 7 chakras, they actually start at the bottom and work their way up.
Right.
And the top 3 chakras are the thought, and the bottom 3 chakras are the energy, the love that's going on.
Okay,
And
so the top three, I'm sorry, the top three are thought, you said?
top three are thought.
Okay.
And your bottom three are the grounding or your energy chakras. So 1, 2, and 3 from the bottom going up is your energy. Everything begins with thought. That's your 7, 6, 5. And there was something that, another one of the people that you and I talked about before, Greg Braden, he taught me an easier way to explain some of this. It's the two areas of chakras are meeting in the middle. And the middle is the heart chakra.
Right.
And everything goes with the heart chakra. It's the strongest magnetic electrical field in the body, way stronger, several times stronger than the mind or the thought chakra. And so that's where it really goes, and that's kind of the importance of it. Well, these people had come into the shop, and they'd have their typical aches and pains. And if I could show them basically from the chakras a little bit, their 7 energy zones of the body, what they were working on particularly, then I could sit and talk to them more, and they would have something that they could hold on to from that as a chakra stone related to that. So what I had to do was create a lot of different charts, a lot of the rock that we worked with in pleasure, these where they're from, how hard they were. And this is some of it I had to know so I could prepare something beautiful for them. But, and I had some people that were carrying quite a few stones around. So I had to learn how to make them beautiful, but smaller, but how to go with the body. So there's a lot of the charts I developed, it's nothing particularly new in the world, but it's how I put it together for them and how I can lump different chakra stones for different healing. I've got groupings for addictions, different type healing, and I get into some very specific stuff. And like I said, I love the healing portion of it. And it's so specific now, and so many teachers out there that even diseases that aren't in the normal healing lists I was working with is monocular degeneration, which is destroying of the eye, but they've got some stones that have energies. And I got to back up a little bit. All rock has energies of some kind. Now, what rocks turn me on may not turn you on as much. So if I have a variety of rocks and then I get to these people, I could let them handle them and I could let them feel the energy in it. And that's how they chose the rocks that they wanted, is they are feeling the energy from those stones. Right. And some of it, like me, my base and the grounding stone for me is petrified wood. I love petrified wood. It can come into, and there's nothing more than something that's been in the ground a whole, millions of years that, and, there's nothing to me that is more grounding than that effect there. But the petrified wood in itself has so many different colors. The whole brook.
Let me ask you something. So based on what you just said, I was thinking about it while you were talking. Okay, so everybody has chakras, and like you just said, it's energy. and all the rocks give off their own energy. But it's kind of, what is that person's energy feeling, needing, distressed, etc. It's very individual per person, means the combination of the rocks and their energy could also kind of vary from person to person, correct?
Uh,
More or less,
yes,
or
because
no?
those, uh, yes and no. In other
Okay.
words, there's basically some rocks that are highly recommended for the different chakras for people
Okay.
that are beautiful. But the more you get into the studies, and that's the charts that I was trying to send to you, shows different, that there's rocks that really blend over it. And that's where your individual energy is
Okay.
in the structure. And
Okay.
then you try to group those together. Whether it's prosperity, it's all sorts of ranges of feelings, but it's hard for me to, without you having those thoughts and chakras are going out, like this one list that I showed you here. And I'm just going to read off the heart chakra.
Okay.
Location, center of the chest. Color, basically, it goes, the green rocks are bigger there. Functions, anchors the life force from the higher self, energizes the blood and physical body with the life force or blood circulation. The glands and the organs that it really does, because this reaches several to your body and your healing several different ways. It's a heart, the thymus glands, the circulatory system, arms, hands, and lungs. The gems and minerals there that react strongly to it. Now, this particular chart gives you some of those more expensive ones like emeralds, green and pink tourmaline, malachite, green jade, green aventurine, and that's one that I like, the cryospace, Kusanite, rose quartz, ruby. There's even some recommended on fruits and vegetables for your heart. Qualities and lessons, divine, unconditional love, forgiveness, compassion, understanding, balance, group conscious, oneness with life, acceptance, peace, openness, harmony, contentment.
Okay.
So part of the working with people in chakras is, there again, it's a quiz on people. What do you got going on in your life? And sometimes they don't even know they're giving me the information there. What's your aches and pains? And then I can go in, whether it's your skeletal, I've got charts on skeletal. I tried to show you some of that. You can cross that back over to your spinal column. We get, and there's a lot of times it's affirmations help you too with all this type stuff.
Okay.
And so it's, chakras are just one minute part of the whole healing type scheme that I try to get into. And so it's a little tougher to do on this interview today. I don't have these charts where you can get questions and I can move them out. And I do not have them truly all on my website. So it's a little harder to place that someplace you can go get it at this point. But there's a healing stone for everybody, just because all these things have that essence, the energy that you can feel through your hands, and I might not be able to, but you can.
Right.
For those things of yours.
Right.
But
and I love when you said that on the chart, it also talks about fruits and veggies for the chakras. And I think that's something not a lot of people talk about, or at least it's not that common that people talk about how to balance your chakras. They always think energies and like the stones, but it's even what we feed ourselves and what we feed our bodies.
Yes, and a lot of times the chakras are related strictly with the yoga, uh,
Mm-hmm.
the gathering of energy,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, a lot of it too is goes back to some biblical stuff. You get that there was a period of time that a lot of the teachings that resemble other cultures, whether it be Tibetan or shamanism or whatever, that don't study the Bible, that where a lot of us have been have placed in front of us. But it was 1,700 years ago. There was a kind of a biblical purge, and they eliminated a lot of that. So
Right.
there's a lot of cultures to this day, whether you're a Tibetan monk or whoever, are they're working with these type energies all the time, and they've been in place for the healing before there was written documents for years before.
Right.
You know, a lot of it was passed down to the leaders of whatever sect you were in, but uh, we're just now catching up on knowing about some of this stuff, and
I
that's the
think the
beauty of it.
science,
Yeah,
exactly, the science of what is proving what so many people have known for generations.
yeah, and you turned me on to a site about healing and bones, and I'd heard about some other ones that, but especially in the Chinese
Mm-hmm.
area, some of their major hospitals are being worked. You know, they'll go in there and work on people uh, with
Energetically almost.
doctors at a time, and they can have see the results that are in sonograms at the time
Right.
of healing actually helping in the mind. So, you know, it's healing has so many different avenues that no one can be a total expert in all of it. But
Yeah.
when the people, you know, force me to find another way to help them, uh, and that's what I think that I've been really charged to do is physical healing, which I got away from for a little bit, and are now back into it, working with 5 different people now that one-on-one, and it's just so fulfilling. And some of them do rocks. In fact, is one of them is a rock dealer, and
Oh,
so I about it, and he's out there buying big time and stuff like that. But that, you know, what works for him,
right.
and you can work it down to the individual diseases and split it out, and so it doesn't just stop exactly with these energy zones. The same healing process works. So it starts with thought, you get a physical energy, and it meets in
Mm-hmm.
the middle in the heart. And the flat, a lot of healing is just trying to get people to eliminate the negativity out of their life. And I don't care from what illness or whatever you're going.
Yeah.
And sometimes just the beauty of the stones do that. So that's why I really like the stones. And my stone chart, which is another one that I was given to you, is 11 pages. And I got Sarah 3 different groups of all I know about chakras. And with
Okay.
those, it's just I'll get them to you there. It gives you a basic stone you can work with, but what those different explanations of what those chakras are all about. And
Okay.
then as I got my charts worked up, it was more and more stones in each chakra, almost to the point it gets confusing. I don't like to give those out there. It's much easier if you can just kind of work with uh, three stones in a chakra or something like that,
Okay.
and make the people comfortable. Then I've got charts that show how you can do bundling and create them there, and how to organize your bundles. And a lot of it is so you don't have to carry them with you all the time. But a lot of people have their favorite, just like a birthstone. They may have their necklace with it, things that are
Right.
there. You get some stones that are so high energy for some people. One guy told me, he said, I've got some at home, but my wife tells me if I wear it anymore, we're getting a divorce because it
Why?
just stays off the wall, you know? So, you know, everybody reacts just a little bit different to it. And it's trying to put, you know, what's working for your healing, your feeling, your loving, and opening up your world
Right.
just a little bit better.
No, and I think it's absolutely amazing, and it's a complete study on its own. Like you said, the more you learn, there is to learn. And I think we're just such beautiful, complex bodies of energy. And like you said, chakra healing is just one form of healing, but it's a path that can help advance. It can help heal. It can help bring peace. And I think that's what, let's say, the stones do. Like, for example, I'm at my desk. I have my rose quartz, of course. My nephew and his girlfriend went to Mexico, so they brought me a keychain, which is an amethyst. So I have that here. My brother went to Turkey, I think it was, and he brought me this one.
Oh, that's a beauty. I like that.
This one's
Now
a beautiful thing.
that is an example of bundling right there.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so you're covering all 7 of your chakras, plus you've got a focus stone,
Right.
one and that's your center, which it looked like that was purple. It was an amethyst, and
Let's see.
yeah, that's a little amethyst pyramid. And you know, but the citrine, the white quartz, the pure quartz that you had before, the citrine,
I want to.
red jasper.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I mean, I have it sitting on my desk right at the base of the computer. Intuitively, for some reason, sometimes it'll be like this, sometimes I'll just move it. And I could feel the difference of which one is pointing towards me. I feel something. And what I was going to say is, even though I have all these rocks and I have a whole bunch more, it's learning to work with them, in my opinion. It's learning to work with them, see them as consciousness, see them as energy, but don't rely on them. Like, I have them here on my desk, but I don't carry them. I don't carry them in my purse. I used to carry them in my pockets. I used to carry stones for everything, for abundance, for chakras, for grounding. I used to always carry them. But now it's more of I know they're there and I know they're helping, and I'm thankful. So I think it gets to a point that you kind of connect with these stones and then just take that with you wherever you go.
That's, you know, you had a good summation of it, and yes, there, and some rock doesn't necessarily have the energy for healing that I've been able to figure out yet. My wife bought a real expensive rock one time. It was beautiful for her, and while it was so expensive, it was so rare.
Okay.
And it was from Idaho, southern Idaho, and it's against a lot of mined anymore. It's so rare.
Oh, I didn't know.
And
Okay.
and when she's paying this big price for it, I'm trying to figure out how many pieces I can cut it into and get my money back. And it didn't take long. No, that's my rock. You leave it alone.
Right.
You just leave it alone.
Right.
And so that's just the beauty of the stone. And if it makes you feel good, and some of that is just there. So yeah, I try to incorporate some of that in, and I, because if some of our listeners don't necessarily get a advantage of it right away, if I get these lists that for some reason got hung up in the email world, I know will enjoy some of it, and just where it's going to go. And
Okay.
but all these, it just kind of ties together. It's but like I said, the chakra stones turned into a big part of my life for a few months, and I spent a lot of time after it. And one of your things was don't spend a lot of time on it if you haven't got it done. But basically, I had to get it done. I just a little more organized and how to get a PDF file that's going to you to go. So
That's fine. And what we're going to do is by the time this recording comes out, I'll make them available either through your website if it's up and running by then. And if not, we'll just put it here in the comments below. They'll get the reports. But I think what's more important is for each person to realize and be open to how literally they're nice and cute, but how a rock, as a lot of people call them, can help. And we don't need to do anything but be open to it. And with your charts, they're going to be more available to understanding why, because we're human beings that we have logical thinking and then we have intuitive thinking. And I think with your charts, you're able to help us with the logical understanding. But whether I know what this rose quartz is going to do or not, it's going to do its job, to kind of say it, because it is consciousness.
yes, now from here, I'd say that that was called almost a clear quartz, but that's, you know,
This
the
one?
colors we get on that. But yeah,
A
rose
little
quartz.
darker. It's a little darker in person than what I see the camera showing.
Yeah, yeah. So, and that's, you know, we lose a little bit on that, but you get that in the amethyst that you're talking about, like the center of that bundle deal there. Now you can have the geode type amethyst that's purple with lots of little crystals in it, and you can get the solid amethyst colors, and that'll come in a very range. And a lot of people just like the round ones.
Right.
And what I'm doing for most of the people, just so those that want to carry them with you, and you know, I've got some of the jewelry making capabilities, but it just takes so much time that I'm trying to get the people to carry or have them close. And it's easier to do with something if I'm cutting them and polishing them flat and small.
Right.
And then you could still bundle those, you know.
Right.
And I use a lot of geode slabs for the bundling platform, you might say.
Very nice. Beautiful. Well, Chuck, we're going to have to start cutting it to a close. I wanted to thank you. The information has been great, and just knowing that we can mix the stones with the chakras, even foods and veggies, there's so many different ways we can heal. And like we both mentioned, there's the healing with chakras and rocks is only one way of healing. But I think the most important is everything that comes out of our heart, because it is that biggest electronic field or magnetic field.
Both.
I'm like, that didn't sound right. But thank you so much for spending your time today with us.
And like I said, for all our troubles, it's been fun, and I enjoy that kind of stuff immensely.
That's amazing. So I will put your description, your link, and we will get these PDFs available to everybody. But thank you again once for taking your time to go ahead and make them as thorough as you did, actually, because I know you were working hard on them.
Well, I'm also in the middle of a house move.
Yes, you are. That's why I said, if you don't have time, don't do it, but you went ahead and did them. Well, thank you so much again for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll talk next time. Bye.